Now, on the... Oh, God, this is going to wind me right up again. Martin Gower, former NHS Trust Chair. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
I'm not. I'm in a very angry mood today.
Really, I look on this as theft, theft from the British taxpayer.
Well, let's just explain why you're on, because this is one of the stories that really resonated with the viewers today. We discover, ladies and gentlemen, last week we were talking, you might have listened, you might not, Martin, you've probably got better things to do. This whole debate always about the NHS, 200 billion, we need more money. And we all sit here and we go, well, hold on a minute. Think about these managers and think about the wastage, the astronomical wastage. And last week, Harry Cole from The Sun was able to tell me that the NHS spends 83 million on interpreters, because that had happened in any other country. Today, we discovered, keeping my voice as level as possible, cash-strapped hospitals have written off £256 million owed by foreign patients because of failures to properly check they were entitled to NHS treatment in the first place. An investigation shows escalating deaths from health tourists who have had everything from spinal surgery to heart care and cancer treatment. This is creating this black hole. We had the excellent Isabel Oakeshott on, who said in any other country in the world, if you went into the hospital, you'd have to give them your debit card. Why are we so soft, Martin? We're skint, man.
Well, apart from anything else, Jeremy, they don't really have the mechanism to do it, because this is a taxpayer-funded service, and nobody else has a taxpayer-funded service. They may have a statutory insurance, but everything is costed and everything is paid for. I mean, the average person who goes into hospital has not a clue what their treatment has cost at all. So it's kind of complacency. Oh, well, we'll deal with that, no problem.
But it's also ideology, isn't it? Because if I'm in any other country in the world right now, okay, and I get ill, I'm not going to get it free. I'm going to, whether I've got travel insurance or medical insurance, or I'm going to have to give them my debit card. That is a fact. This country led the way. I get the health service, the benefit system, two of the greatest inventions in the modern world. But Martin, it's also fair to say, and you're a former NHS Trust chair, if it doesn't provide in its finances what it was set out to do for the very people that pay to make it happen, because in part it's giving it to people who shouldn't be getting it, then shame on every single one of whoever's this organisation that this is being allowed to happen, because very much like all of our public services right now, they're not going to the people who are paying for it, and that doesn't make sense.
But Jeremy, we're so kind, you see.
But
we're very kind.
Listen, I've only got 40 minutes. Yeah, we're very kind, but not to a lot of people who we should be kind to.
No,
and that's not an unfair comment, is it?
No, this is why I said at the outset it's theft. Because it's not just the fact that this money hasn't come to the NHS and it's therefore being demanded of the British taxpayer. It has actually cheated people who should have had those services. It's pushed them down the line. It's held up the waiting list. It's done all of those sorts of things. And it's a kind of strange attitude is that jolly foreigner, and I'm sorry to use the phrase, must be given priority, because there is this risk that if we don't, we'll be accused of racism, jingoism, and all the rest.
Well, my point to you is, and I would say this very calmly, and I think that there are many instances, and we can lead with the immigration argument, where people are saying or beginning to have the confidence to have these conversations that they wouldn't have done. I am really, and always was really happy for Great Britain, the United Kingdom, whatever it was, when it could afford to help people. But now, whether it's the NHS, the benefit system, the welfare state, to almost anything, we seem to prioritise, and that's my word, priority, really. We seem to prioritise everybody, and I get accused of all sorts of things for saying this, over people who have lived here and have paid their stamp. We seem to prioritise criminals over victims. We seem to prioritise illegal migrants over people. I cannot, as a 60-year-old soon man, sit here and think that there are pensioners who were freezing this winter, and yet you can jump on a plane and have a back operation and bugger off back to wherever you've come from, and we'll pick up the tab. That makes sense.
Well, I tell you what I do. I do a couple of things definitely to try and address this. If these people have come from a country that we're giving aid to, I would definitely deduct any debts that anybody of citizens of that country owe us from that aid. That would be our first step. So if there's 100,000 owed to us from people, say from Nigeria, then whatever our aid budget is for them, 100,000, 200,000, whatever it is, we knock it off and say you can retrieve that if you want the money within your own country. They're your citizens. They've come here and they've cheated on us. They never. These people. Do you think, Jeremy, these people ever intended to pay?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And I don't
So.
understand the people who would be offended by the conversation we're having. And I always feel like saying, but if it was your mother or your father or your child or your grandmother who missed out on cancer treatment or a life-saving operation, or your grandmother broke her hip and was 9 hours on the floor on a hospital trolley, but seemingly, I'm not like that, but I do believe that the British people are at their wits' end, Martin.
I think there is increasing resentment, and there is this sense that the British people are. I mean, there's the whole thing of Westminster City Council making people go through a quiz. I don't know whether you've seen it,
No.
about what you put enter the answer to this quiz to decide whether you are a white supremacist or not, white privileged, sorry. And I tried
don't care about the colour of your skin. I keep saying it. I have every single night when I haven't got my car, I get driven. I've told many people this story, but it's amazing. I had him last night from there. He's a Bangladeshi kid. He's been over here for 40 years. His dad brought him. They have built a successful business. They pay the taxes. He's proud to be in this country. He's appalled by people who come here and get something for nothing. He's also appalled by the people who live here and sponge, and that's also a relevant point. And he's taught his kids the same as his father's taught him, and he's one of my dearest friends. This is not about anything other than, if you pay for it, you should get it. If you don't, stop ripping us off, and we need to do something about it.
And Jeremy, if you or I were in France or Germany, and we said, look, I've got a bit of a pain in my chest. I think I need a heart operation, and we go and see the local doc, and there's no way that we will be able to get that treatment on a normal routine process surgical program. There's no way we would get that treatment without actually paying for it, and we'd have to pay for it up front.
Mate, I couldn't agree more. I could talk to you all night, I could. Martin, it's always an absolute pleasure. We'll keep fighting the fight, my friend. Martin Gower, former NHS Trust chair. Thank you to him.